At Five Star Bank, community is at the heart of what we do. Every day we strive to have thoughtful solutions for our customers and help our communities prosper. Honest dialogue about the issues affecting the region is vitally important to that prosperity. We are proud to be part of the conversation and hope you'll join in.
The late Andre Simon once said, "Wine makes every meal an occasion, every table more elegant, and every day more civilized." The passion of winemaking and wine drinking continues to grow in our region, and we are blessed with a growing winemaking community. South of Placerville in the town of Fairplay, Robert and Missy van de Vijver have created a winery that is an expression of their passion for good food, good wine, and good conversation, into a business that embodies California's continuing romance with the grape. Welcome, Robert and Missy.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Glad to be here.
So where does this passion for wine come from with both of you?
Well, my wife was more into beer when I met her.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we're good with beer in this region as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. With me, it's going to the south of France with my parents since I was maybe 4 years old. And as age 6, I think, I went wine tasting with my parents because I couldn't stay behind like my brothers because they were older. And I really liked wine and just grew from there.
At that young age?
Well, it's legal. But yes, I didn't like the watered down stuff at all, actually. I liked the pure stuff. But they gave me a smaller glass, which they said was a children's glass, which I later found out wasn't true.
So you've had an educated palate since a very tender age.
That's one way to put it.
And what about you, Missy?
When my mother and I actually moved to California, my mom actually moved into, lived with my husband before he was my husband. That's a funny story. She was very excited about moving to California from Ohio. She was going to live at a winery. That sounded very exciting in California. And when she got there, she was a little disappointed. Robert didn't make white Zinfandel.
Ah.
So I went to the store and bought her a bottle of white Zinfandel, which is quite all right. It's a wonderful wine for the people who like it.
Oh, is that a tender way of saying that those who like it are, well, those who like it?
Well, the first wine I made in California was actually white Zinfandel, not for myself, but so to make fun of it would be foolish. And if you look at how much money the people who invented white Zinfandel made, not such a stupid thing. I think it's a great gateway wine for people to start enjoying wine. And like my sister-in-law, she enjoyed her sweet wines, but she started drinking more dry wines since.
Well, wait a minute now, okay? One of the things that we've heard is that you invented a rosé just for your mother, right? What's the difference between a rosé and a Zinfandel?
Well, first of all, Zinfandel is a red grape. So a lot of people think, wow, your Zinfandel is red, and I'm still surprised when they say that. But second, I didn't invent this wine. It is a Bandol style rosé, which is a city in a small town in the Provence in south of France. And they barrel ferment their wine. And then they keep it for a year in the barrel. And so they make it more like a red wine. It's a serious alternative for a red wine in the summertime, because it drinks like a red. It drinks a little bit too easy, however, when you're drinking it in the afternoon.
Oh, really?
Yes. And my mom, a lot of the wines here in California, the rosés anyway, they're either sweet or they are very dry, like a white wine. They do a tank fermentation. And there's nothing wrong with that, but she didn't like those. So she asked me if I could make it more in the style of Bandol, and I, of course, cannot disappoint my mother. Therefore, I made it.
And it passed the mom test?
She drinks enough of it. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your story, Robert.
In what way? Like how I got here?
How you got here. Well, how did you get let in?
Yeah, I say border guard slacking on the job. Actually, a friend of mine went to high school for a year here from the Netherlands, and he met up with some people who bought a windmill in the Netherlands close to where I grew up. And we became friends. And one year I said, I asked, your dad has a winery. Can I come work for your dad for a harvest?
That's too simple.
Well-
You're leaving out the most important part.
Oh, I'm kind of curious now.
Robert is from a
Please.
small town in the Netherlands. It's called Brokanja. It's a beach town.
It
It's
is.
a resort.
It's not a resort.
Robert says it's not a resort, but the waiters all have uniforms. To me, that would be a resort town.
To me, that means that you can recognize the waiter.
So they're sitting on a beach being waited on. And as they're watching the women in the bikinis and the girls riding on the beach with their horses, Robert's like, so what's your dad do?
Robert.
sort of like that. So his dad said yes, but he has to be here in 5 days. So I had to move all my stuff from my student room. And 5 days later, at 4 o'clock in the morning, oh no, actually it was 5 o'clock. They let me sleep in. I was behind a crusher. And then a couple of months later, I told my dad, I know what I want to do with my life, which is I want to make wine. So then I went from there to another winery, and I bought a property, started a winery at a young age. That's the only time I think you can do it when you have no money. Because
Otherwise what? You're too smart for it?
no,
So you have to do it when you're young, when you're
yeah,
too
yeah.
small.
Now you have a 2.5-year-old and a wife, and you're a wimp. You would never take a risk like that.
Well trained, honey, well trained.
Well, it's harder to start over, you know, at his age.
You know, you're doing just fine. Take another drink.
Nice. Nice.
So what made Fairplay the destination of all of the surrounding countryside around here? What's special about Fairplay?
Well, the first time I drove up to Fairplay was actually very surprising because I was in Amador County. And Amador County is reasonably warm, so in the summertime it gets kind of brown looking, the grass gets brown. And then when we drove up to Fairplay, it was really green. It was really beautiful. And reminded me a lot of northern Italy, south of France. And the nice thing about the foothills is that you have all these microclimates, so you can grow basically anything you want, as long as you put it at the right spot. And I got a job offer in Fairplay and really grew to like it. So bought a property in Fairplay. Actually, the first property I bought fell through when I was in Europe. I got the news, which was good news because I got a much better property afterwards.
So tell us about the winery, Missy.
It is a mom and pop winery, literally. Our entire staff consists of Robert, myself, and Robert's parents, Oma and Opa.
And Bella the dog.
And Bella the dog. She
Very
earns her
important.
dog treats.
That's very right.
She's not politically correct either. And every once in a while, there will be a guest appearance by my son, who will teach people how to swirl their wine correctly in their glasses.
With water.
Well, wait a minute now. So he teaches them how to swirl wine.
Correct.
Now, Robert, you have this whole notion of predictive behavior and how people get a little bit too into describing wine. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Of course. I find when people come into the tasting room, you have different kinds of people that come in a tasting room. Some people are really nervous. They are uncomfortable being in a tasting room. And it's probably because some tasting rooms you go to, they are very snobby is perhaps a little bit overdone, but you feel like you're in a library and you have to be quiet. And if you don't use the correct terminology, then obviously you don't know what you're talking about. But they forget to enjoy the wine. What you're there for is tasting the wine, and you like it or you don't like it. And if you do like it, it'd be nice to enjoy the wine and laugh and tell stories. And wine is all about life. It's in our nature. It's in our history so long. It's part of us. So why can't we be ourselves? Why should we go, oh, la, la, la. It's wonderful if you want to do that. There's nothing wrong with it. Just don't make other people feel uncomfortable not doing that.
So tell us a little bit about what we have in front of us right now.
Well, which one you want to talk about? Yours?
Let's talk about mine.
Well, that's Tempranillo, which is a main grape in Rioja, Spain, which is northern Spain. A little bit fast history of that is 2,000 years ago when the Romans invaded Spain, the locals were already growing this grape, but they, of course, according to the Romans, were making horrible wine out of it. The Romans introduced modern winemaking techniques to them, which was again modernized in the 1890s when Bordeaux, France, was devastated by phylloxera. So they came over to the Pyrenees and taught the Spaniards in Rioja to make French-style wines, aging it in small barrels. And I grew up loving Rioja wines. So the first grape we planted was Tempranillo. And we keep the crop way low, so it has nice flavors. It tends to grow too much fruit, which makes for lots of wine, but it doesn't taste very good.
So, all right, let me be careful here so I'm not pretentious, all right? I can't really swirl. Rich Corinthian leather, tobacco,
Yes.
dark chocolate on a cold winter's night.
Wonderful stories.
Isn't that what you told me I was supposed to say?
I didn't tell you that.
Robert actually hates writing tasting notes. It's one of his biggest pet peeves.
Yes.
It's good.
That's all that matters.
That's what it should say on the tasting
I'm
notes.
horrible at describing wines. I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at making wines. Describing wines, not my strong point. And that's, again, what this wine tastes like old leather shoes. I've never had those, so I couldn't possibly describe it as that. It's, yeah.
Have you ever, have either of you ever punctured the bubble of saying to someone who says something like that, yes, dirt, soil, whatever, and said, you've really eaten that before?
All the time, as a matter of fact. We're not very politically correct people. Enjoy life. Don't take yourself so serious.
Okay, all right. So tell us a little bit about what's special about this Fairplay region. You know, we have all of these great regions in the area. What's special about yours?
Well, what is really nice is it's a little higher in elevation than, for instance, Calaveras, Amador County. We have this little area with wonderful soils. It's a sandy loam soil, so it drains really well. The climate is fantastic. It's in the summertime we have cool nights and warm days. Very seldom really hot days. In the afternoon, if it's hot, the wind comes in. Grapes are very much like humans, so they like cool nights, warm days. They don't like to be stressed out. And it's a small area, and there's like 20 wineries there, and everyone makes different wines. So some make completely different styles than others. The fun part about that is you get to go wine tasting in a small area, but you travel throughout the world in wine tasting.
You have lots of company out there, right? I mean,
Yes.
there are a number of wineries.
Absolutely.
Correct. And like our neighbor is a reasonably new winery, and I'm lucky enough to make their wine. But I don't make their wine like my wine. Now, they want to do Italian style wines. They planted varieties that are hard to get because you have growers that are not winemakers. And so basically you plant what you can't buy. And that would be the smart thing, I think.
Now you're experimenting with some unusual grapes.
Yes.
These days. Tell us about what it is that you're working on right now that's
Well,
kind of
for
interesting.
our winery, my wife fell in love with a wine. It's a Pinot Noir, but it's a white wine made from Pinot Noir, kind of like Blanc de Noir in Champagne. And it's barrel fermented. It comes originally from Alta Adige in Italy. And since she likes it, yeah.
Smart man.
Yeah. I'm also making a red Pinot, which is very uncommon in that area because people tell you can't do that. And that really bothers me because I don't like being told you can't do something. Plus, there's so many microclimates in the foothills. It's just simply not true. But for my neighbor, we're not making it yet because the vineyards are a little bit too young. I introduced them to an Amarone wine, which is a wine where they pick the fruit, they dry the fruit for like 4 months and then crush it and make wine out of it and age it. And those are grape varieties that most people haven't even heard of. It's Corvina, and we're also doing a Nebbiolo, as a matter of fact. So very exciting stuff. It's not there yet, but I'm very excited about doing it.
Well, Missy, let's talk about the relationship between wine and food. One of the things that you all are extremely vocal on is marrying great wine with great food. Tell us more about that.
Well, a lot of Robert's wines, some wines like what you're drinking right now, it's great. You can pour it into a glass and just have a glass of wine, and it's fabulous. Some wines are higher in acidity, right?
Correct.
And I apologize, I am not an expert on wine. That's his area. But some wines, based on their acidity, pair better with food. And Robert will tell you that that's what wine is for. And his biggest complaint is that he'll watch people in a restaurant and they'll be eating their meal, and then when they're done with one plate, then they'll start drinking their wine. And it's supposed to complement one another.
Mm-hmm. But you all, as part of just what you do,
Yes.
like to feed people as well.
I am from Ohio. I'm from a very small German town, and that's what we do. We feed people. And I, my mother-in-law and I are constantly competing because to her, a good meal is if there's just enough food on the plate. If there are not leftovers for 4 days,
That's a Dutch thing?
I haven't made enough food for people. So we enjoy, one of the ways, because we both have our own businesses, one of the ways that we get to spend time together is cooking together. And we love cooking together. And that's why
Right.
we had dinner together.
That's right. Folks, full disclosure, Robert and Missy were they said, well, you really can't understand the experience unless we come over and cook for you. So a couple of us were the beneficiary of a very lovely meal and a great set of wine pairings. I want to ask you about that, though. What are some of your favorite pairings in terms of some things that just naturally go together for the folks at home who are getting hungry and thirsty right now?
Well, how about this? Often people say with fish you do white and with meat you do red. I don't think it's that simple. I think some fish goes really well with a nice red wine, maybe a little lighter red wine. But one thing that I find in California, ports here in California tend to be quite a bit sweeter than in Portugal. And they often pair it with chocolate, which I think personally is a horrible combination.
Really?
You do sweet and sweet. You're not complementing, you are competing with the sweetness. Traditionally you have a blue cheese with port, so you would have the strong flavor of the blue cheese, and I'm not talking about this supermarket blue cheese, like a nice blue cheese, and then have the sweetness of the port, and then all of a sudden the blue cheese is not so strong and the port doesn't taste so sweet, and it's much better combination. The saltiness, it's just, that's just personal. If you like chocolate and port, then you should have chocolate and port. I told a lady in the tasting room not too long ago, as a matter of fact, I had Cabernet Sauvignon and she wanted to pair with something, and I had one of those lazy days. My wife will probably make fun of that, but I had one of those lazy days, and all I was eating M&Ms, but I felt like wine. They tasted really good together. So why not?
There you go.
So yeah.
Speaking of that, Mr.
Yes.
Winemaker, my glass is empty.
All right.
So what do we have here?
This would be a 2006 Reserve Barbera. This is made in a Asti style. There's, in northern Italy, where the grape originates in the Piedmont, there's 3 towns famous for Barbera. You have the town of Asti, which you may know by Asti Spumante, which comes back later in the story, as a matter of fact. You have the town of Monferrato, where they blend some Graziano grape into it. And then you have the town of Alba, and they make a little riper tasting Barbera. And even though Alba and Asti are the most famous ones, they're very close together. They're like 30 kilometers or 17 miles apart from each other. They're very different. Asti was conquered by the Savoy family of France, and that you have a lot of French influence in the cuisine, hence the wine. And which means the wine has a little higher acidity, it tends to be a little longer aged, and the wines in Alba tends to be a little bit riper fruit, a little easier to drink, a little more raisiny on the character of the wine.
You did use a descriptor.
Well, raisins is dried grapes, so it's not that far, it's not like leather shoes.
Okay. Touche.
Yeah. I've got pruny, a little pruny. Yeah, Asti style, this was 5.5 years in the barrel. Or actually not this one, that one. My accountant thinks I'm an idiot, which I probably am. I'm a very horrible businessman, but that's because I'm a winemaker. Which is fun when I meet her colleagues who are all college educated, wonderful people. And they go like, but you're a winemaker.
And actually, Missy, that raises the issues that when you're not helping Robert pursue his dream,
Yes.
and inventing new things for him to do.
Yes.
How do you spend your time?
Oh, I always have time to find things for him to do, Scott. But I am an attorney by trade. I am a local criminal defense attorney.
Oh.
And so, like Robert, I'm not a business person, but Robert and I are very, very lucky in that we've chosen a lifestyle that lets us do what we both really want to do. So I help people, and
What's better than that?
there you go.
What's better than that? So when you all are not putting on sort of this Fred and Ginger thing that you guys do, and you're not at the winery, as two entrepreneurs,
Yes.
and you're a double entrepreneur, what do you guys like to take advantage of in our beautiful region here?
We like going away from our business. And the nice thing about California, of course, is you have so many things to do. And nature is such beautiful things to look at. We like going to the town of Carmel. It's a little bit further away, but you know, good food, good wine, and people are nice. People are nice most places anyway. We like discovering back roads.
Okay.
Sometimes you find absolutely nothing, and sometimes you have a great adventure. So,
But even the best thing about having a 2.5-year-old child is you don't have to go. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can go to Sacramento is phenomenal for having local parks. And with a 2.5-year-old, you have a ball and you have a great time.
we really enjoy having a child.
Ah,
It is fun. It's part of a new part of life, and it's fun. It takes time, but it's time that you want to spend. And then when people say, "What do you do when you're not at your business?" It's kind of hard because when are you not at your business? You know, it's your own business. It's
That's right.
When you have a sick day, they don't exist.
so the question
Yes.
that is on everyone's mind is, what do you two drink when you're not drinking your own wine?
Ooh. We like different wines a lot. Champagne is her favorite.
Beer.
Beer, we like good beers.
Do you drink any of the local beers we have here?
Absolutely. My only problem with a lot of beers, microbrew beers, is they use too much hops. It becomes too bitter, and there's this whole, it's a fad. It'll blow over, but I have more hops in my beer than you, and it's with anything in life. Moderation. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like a hint of oak in a wine is nice. If it's all oak, then you don't taste the wine. Same thing with hops and beer. But a lot of breweries make an array of beers, so which makes it a lot of fun. And it takes a lot of beer to make wine,
Yes.
because during harvest it's warm.
Right.
You don't really drink wine when it's warm and you're working hard. You drink beer. So you trade with local breweries.
You know, I would have never thought of that. but-
Absolutely.
Huh.
I went to a winery where they had a big jar in the tasting room. It was a donation jar for the winemaking crew during harvest for beer.
For beer.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Which I thought was
it's
hilarious.
nice to know there's a bit of a symbiosis
Absolutely.
between the
Of
two.
course.
Now, one of the things that this region is really becoming known for is being a leader in what's called the farm to table movement.
Yeah.
And based on your love mutually of both wine and food, what are some of the recommendations you all have for being able to experience the best of the farm to table movement in this region? What do you guys, if you're advising somebody to come sample some of the treasure of this region, what is it?
Well, I think most of the time when we've met a lot of people through our business, and there's some local growers. They go to the farmers market, like in Placerville, for instance, and
I actually had one of the founders of that farmers market on the show.
Oh, really? How
Yes,
fun.
that's right.
and it's wonderful. These farmers markets are great, and the best part about it is you can strike up a conversation with the people that are growing it, and they're passionate about it. So what often happens, they invite you to their place, and you go, oh, you got to try this. Oh, you got to try it. Take this home, and it's just a very. They love what they do, so they want to share it with you. Like when we get an email with a photo, and the people they had a wonderful meal, but our wine made it better. That just puts a smile on your face.
Sure.
You know, when you feed people, they're happy, right? It's
I've been
nice.
smiling ever since. In fact,
Yes.
you guys can cook for me anytime that you want.
Absolutely.
So, and Missy, in terms of some best bets, if someone came to town,
Yes.
where would you send them?
Oh,
Which town?
wow.
this, I consider the
Sacramento.
the 6-county region the town. So
So how many days can we talk?
just one. We've got them for one.
Oh, where do we always take people?
Boy.
There's so many different places.
It all depends what the ages are too. Like we've got visitors from Holland. We had some friends with young children. We
Yes.
took them gold panning in Coloma, which, funny enough, we've never done ourselves because it's so close by, right? Which was a lot of fun, actually. You really should do that. And the kids loved it. And it's a beautiful area.
Where did
to
we
begin
take the
with.
kids to eat? I don't remember.
In our last 30 seconds, tell
Yes.
us then. I'll make it easy. What's your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant would be Taste in Plymouth.
Taste in Plymouth.
Yes, phenomenal food.
Okay.
Phenomenal food.
Well, you heard it here. Well, folks, thank you very much, and much success to you both.
Thank
you
so
very
much.
much.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey. And that's our show. Thanks to our guests and thanks to you for watching Studio Sacramento. I'm Scott Syfax. See you next time right here on KVIE.
At Five Star Bank, community is at the heart of what we do. Every day we strive to have thoughtful solutions for our customers and help our communities prosper. Honest dialogue about the issues affecting the region is vitally important to that prosperity. We are proud to be part of the conversation and hope you'll join in.
All episodes of Studio Sacramento, along with other KVIE programs, are available to watch online at kvie.org/video.